Hello, everyone. I'm going to give you a very brief overview of our template that we're going to be using. This is a template that should look familiar for you. We used this template within our reading workshop units, and some of our grade levels use this in the writing units that they currently have, so mostly primary grades. So it will look familiar to you, but there are some additions to this template, and that's what I'm going to highlight for you today. I'm not going to give you a lot of detail, one, because you might forget it between now and in the fall, and we're going to go into more detail in the fall. But I wanted you to have an idea. I do want you to know that we're combining two different processes of writing curriculum. The first is from Larry Ainsworth's Rigorous Curriculum Design, and then we're also bringing in Matt Glover's way to design curriculum, which is a little more authentic. So we're bringing in that piece because there are some engagement pieces that is really, really powerful in what Matt does when he writes curriculum. So that's why we have some additions to the template. So one addition is the type of unit that it is. We'll mark whether it's a craft, genre, or process unit. The standards will look the same with the exception of we did add in other standards here because we should be teaching other standards other than priority and supporting standards. Of course, the focus is on the priority standards. That doesn't mean that we're not teaching other standards. We have primary and secondary goals for each unit. The primary goal is the one big thing we want our kids to get out of the unit. And then the secondary unit goals are based on writing quality, writing habits, community of writers, revision, and editing. All of those goals, both primary and secondary, are based on our standards, are based on teaching points we pulled from mentor text, and also teaching points that we pulled from when teachers wrote their own mentor text, teacher mentor. So that's what those are based on. And then those were used in order to write, I'm going to scroll down a second, in order to write the projected lessons. So projecting is one of our Smithville School District writing beliefs. So the idea is that we project the lessons we think our kids are going to need based on our goals, not necessarily planning the day-to-day in detail, but it's what we think our kids are going to need based on our goals. They are not written in CTAL. However, CTAL is still expected whenever we come into your classroom because it's a really good process. We did not take the time to write CTAL out. Instead, we wrote whether it was an immersion day. Every unit will have an immersion or setting the stage lesson. We wrote the teaching point or the I can statements that you will use. So just take this and put that on your anchor chart if you have an anchor chart that day, or put it on your whiteboard. We want you to use those I can statements, not necessarily, I mean, you can use your own, you can modify, but these are here for you to use. And then the mentor text and the strategy that is used in the lesson. So these are the lessons over this is probably a 5 or 6 week unit. And then celebration is at the end. Celebration is one of our Smithville School District writing beliefs, so celebrations are written into every single unit. Going back up to the top, I skipped over some things. So formative and summative assessment, we've always had that. There will be a rubric for every teacher to use in every single unit that will be linked there. Mentor texts are linked there and other resources. Vocabulary, that's all the same as the previous template that you guys have been using. Key conferring questions, that's a new addition for you. And then we wrote out our projected mini lessons in the first column here. Possible conferring point for above or below grade level writers there. And then anticipated issues we think our kids might have. And then just FYI, at the bottom, you'll see a list of various teaching points. This is really just for the planning process. You won't necessarily use this, but as we looked at mentor text and wrote our own teacher mentor text, these were some of the possible teaching points that we came up with. You don't really need to refer to those because everything you need to teach is in these boxes here. So that is a very quick overview. We'll talk more detail in the fall. Thanks, everyone.